When you see your biological parent and a step parent arguing, it's very, very scary. Yeah.
It's unsettling and
That's a good
it gives
word.
you an instability in your household.
That you already, it's like
You already
triggering.
had, yes.
For children, they already had some type of instability.
Because of the divorce.
Yeah, that led to breaking their family.
Hey guys, welcome to Remarried Love, the best new relationship podcast for everyday men and women who desire to be married again. We're your hosts, Dee
and Aki,
and we're going to have candid, heartfelt conversations about the journey to a healthy remarriage.
We're so glad you're here.
So this is like the second part to what could be a 3-part series.
Yeah. Our last episode, we were talking about 3 things to avoid in a blended family. And we were talking about financial responsibilities that you may put on a new spouse. We were talking about forcing instant bonds, loyalty conflicts. And that was a good episode. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And it brought back a lot of memories. And we hope that talking about it openly from the point of view of children of divorce in a blended family and from adults who have been dealing with blended families, that it can really give you some nuggets of insight so that your journey will be a little bit smoother and a little bit easier than we had it.
Yeah, we really want to help and give insight into what it's like to be on both sides of a blended family.
Yeah. You know, before we start this discussion, we just want to let you know that
every situation is unique.
We do understand the delicacy of a blended family situation.
And that's because the both of us have been in blended families since we were children.
Yes. Even if our personal examples aren't exactly like yours, we do understand the nuances and the different things that can happen. So we just want you to know that everything that we're saying here is sincere. We want you to be successful in your blended family. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about 3 new things. Today, we're going to be talking about ignoring discipline, comparing children, and skipping couple unity.
Last time we laid a foundation, and this time we want to go a whole lot deeper.
And we'll get into that for each topic.
Yeah. So let's take a deep breath. Now let's get into it.
All right. So topic number 1 is ignoring discipline. That's one thing that we want to avoid when you have a blended family. And what we mean by that is when there's different types of discipline or there's an absence of discipline and there's not consistency, because that really can cause chaos in a blended family.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people want to know what's going on in the house, and you want to be consistent because inconsistency breeds confusion. And we want to make sure that we know what's going on. So kids don't know what to expect if the rules change depending on who they're talking to. If they talk to dad, he says this, mom says that. And the child is like, well, you know, they don't know what's going on, so maybe I can manipulate the two. It's good to be on one accord and have consistent rules when it comes to your discipline.
So it's important for both of you to get together and decide how you're going to discipline the children, because you still need that in a blended family, because kids can sense when there's not agreement. Kids can sense inconsistency in discipline, and it's very important that you still have it, but that both you and your spouse can come to agreement with that.
It's funny you said kids can sense it. I think that also parents show it. They show that they're not in agreement when they come to a child and they present themselves before the child and say this, that, or the other. And the child's looking at them like, I don't think that they're on the same page.
That can make it harder to bond, which is what we talked about in the first episode. So one thing with discipline, you have to look at all the children, or even if it's just one. Like, yes. How are we both going to parent and discipline this child? And it can be distinctly different from the other parent. So you have the child kind of split between 2 parents and 2 discipline styles. And then you have you and your new spouse working together to make your style, like the style that the child is going to understand. And that may be new because you could have been the parent who really wasn't the disciplinarian. And so now you're going into a marriage and your child still needs discipline. So now is it going to be the step parent or the bonus parent, or how are you guys going to work that out?
Well, either way, it has to be discussed and there has to be an agreement. You're going to talk about it. You're going to talk about everything from A to Z, and then you're going to come to an agreement on what we do in our house.
Yeah.
And then you present it to the child.
You know, I felt like in my own personal upbringing with my mom, her and my stepdad, I feel like we're really on the same page. And that was, she would do the discipline. He kind of was helping to enforce and support.
Her backer.
Yeah, her backer. Yeah. But I do feel like she went to him first. I don't ever felt like she just disciplined me or decided on some type of action before talking to him.
So you felt like they actually had that agreement before they presented it to you?
Yes. I felt that way. With my father, I felt like it was a little different because my stepmother was not really a disciplinarian at all. You know, you could tell that she doesn't discipline.
Some people, they don't discipline because of fear. They just don't like to be that person. They don't
like it.
Yeah, they don't want to be the person who's disciplining the children.
They're not confrontational.
Non-confrontational people tend to not want to discipline the children.
Or just avoid it.
Yeah.
So she didn't really do that. And my dad is definitely a disciplinarian. So I know that they had several conversations about how it was going
to be done.
Yeah, because me and my stepbrother and sister, we were at different ages, different stages, and that kind of goes into make sure the discipline is age appropriate.
Yeah, because it really does matter the age and
how
you do it per child. You have to look at that child as an individual. So it's not like, well, we're all going to get disciplined as a child this way because that's what the rules say. So the rules are the rules, but they're also displayed as an age appropriate action.
Right.
Yeah.
So when when you were growing up, who is the disciplinarian for you?
So for me at first, in the beginning of their remarriage, my mother was the disciplinarian one because she is my biological mother, until I guess they had their conversations, and then my stepfather became more of a disciplinarian, and then they were both equal when it came to it, and they were on a front.
And I think it takes time. You made a good point. In the beginning, the biological parent was kind of the main enforcer until there is a bond between the child and the step parent before they could really receive any type of discipline.
Well, you have to know that there's a bond and love. There must be love and bonding in this relationship before discipline comes, because if you don't have those two things, then you're going to have anger and bitterness and resentment. And so you don't want to have those things in your household when you're trying to build a nice, peaceful home. You want to be able to have peace with love and bonding. And so when you have to discipline,
it comes from that place.
It comes from that heart.
Yeah, it doesn't come from, you're upset. And I think as a parent, if you are a type that doesn't like to discipline, before you just hand over the reins to your spouse, there should be a discussion that even you may have to lead it a little bit, meaning you may have to state to the child, this is what you've done and this is how we're going to discipline.
And there should be some knowledge towards the child that the step parent, whether it's the father or the mother, does love them and does have a bond with them. So they know that they're not getting, what's the other thing other than discipline? It's more like, you're just punishing me. You're really hurting me. Like you don't really care about me. So they want to know that this person loves them, cares about them, and wants to protect them. And they're protecting them by disciplining them.
I think with blended families too, you have to talk more about discipline before it happens.
Yes, before it happens.
Where, when you're in your own family that has not been separated or broken apart, and then there's other adults in play, sometimes you can just handle it at the time. But with blended families, no matter how many children are involved, I think discipline should be discussed before it happens.
Well, like I said, everybody needs to know that love is the foundation of this household, of this blended family. And so if love is there, then when I have to tell you something that you may not want to hear, then you know that I do love you and you can feel the love, and we have actions and we have experiences of love that prove to you that I actually am coming from a heart of love.
Well, sometimes that's even hard with kids. I mean, our own kids don't feel like we've done so much for them. I don't know if they feel like we love them when we're disciplining them. You know, they think it's not fair.
Yeah. Well, not fair is different, but
yeah. And the only thing is, I don't think you have to continue to try to prove and prove and prove. What happens is if you have it, it's undeniable. You know what I'm saying? If you have love in the home and you have that type of relationship, there's no more having to continually prove it. That is a fine line because kids will make you feel like you do. You know, kids will try to pull, especially with divorced parents. Sometimes they make you feel guilty.
Yes, there is.
You're ruining my life.
Happens. Yes. Mm-hmm.
This person that you married is doing this to me.
Why is it so hard, as far as the two biological parents?
Yeah, there's a lot of guilting to parents of divorced families that have now remarried. And that can sometimes play a part in your discipline. How you feel about disciplining them when you know that, or maybe you feel like you broke their heart. So how now am I going to discipline a child that I've done all of this to? But you do still have to be consistent. And that's why you and your new spouse have to come together, because the absence of discipline in a child's life creates more chaos. Mm-hmm. And so they need it, but it has to be done in love.
So as a man, you may be asked to spank your stepchild.
Yeah.
One of the things to consider is that maybe you should have a bond with that child before you discipline them. Meaning that you've taken some time to bond with the child so they know that you're not just a stranger. You're the person in their household who is looking after them, and you do care for them.
Yeah, it's a very touchy subject. It's very sensitive, and you do need to be on one accord. I really appreciated when I watched our kids that I was the stepmom, that if I had any discipline problems or things that I needed to address, I waited until you got home.
So me as the biological father,
yes,
you waited until I got home, and then I backed you up by disciplining. Yes. According to whatever the situation was.
And I let the children know, like, I'm not comfortable just disciplining you by myself or anything.
I'm sure they liked that part.
Yeah. But they knew that I was going to tell you. And that was kind of weird because I didn't want you to have to come home and hear that. Then you, as the biological parent, now you have to kind of filter it like, okay, this is what my wife is telling me. Mm-hmm. But you also went to the children and like, what happened here?
Yes.
To make sure that you're not just going by what I say.
It's like, what did you do? What did you say?
Yes.
What happened? What's the situation?
You don't want to be the step parent always telling on the child or exaggerating what the children are doing.
Or not finding the truth before I act.
Right. So I think that's kind of the overall theme of what we're saying with blended families and discipline, is that it is administered after a discussion has happened, like after communication.
And when you find out what the truth really is, because...
Do you find that out?
Well, I say that because some children feel like I really didn't do anything, and I don't know why I'm being disciplined for something I really didn't do.
True, but sometimes like, okay, something is broken and nobody's
done it.
Nobody claims what it is. So I don't know if you find the truth in that.
You may not find the truth, and you're right. And most of the time, two adults don't go around breaking things in their house.
Especially if they're not home.
Yeah.
I remember one time my stepbrothers and sisters, me and some cousins and everybody, we were at the house by ourselves. And I think my dad, and they said, don't run in the living room because there was like a chip off of the fireplace thing, and it's like, don't run in here because somebody may get hurt. And what happened?
You guys were running.
We ran in there. We ran all the way in there, and someone got hurt. I think one of the chips got stuck in their foot, like was bleeding. It was really bad.
Oh, wow.
So when they came back, the parents came home, they were like, who was running in here? Well, we knew who was running, right? Because they were hurt.
Yes.
But then they were like, didn't we tell you all? So we basically all got disciplined.
Yeah.
Because it was like...
You were told what not to do.
And somebody did it.
We didn't all
run over there. I didn't run over there.
Of course not.
But I got disciplined because I was with the crew that did.
And you were one of the oldest, right?
Yes. And, well, no, not in that. Well, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Not with the cousins and stuff.
Oh, the cousins.
But
they
yeah, it
throw
was
it
cousins
off. Okay.
and my stepbrother and sister. But I remember one time I was watching them and something happened and we all got disciplined. And I was upset. I was like, I didn't even do anything. But it was my dad that disciplined me. So what was I going to say?
You can't say anything.
Right.
Like
and sometimes that happens. So it's like you have to be very gentle. You have to understand like what's happening when your child is away from you, like when your child is with the other parent who is disciplining them. And so I think we led with the biological parent leads the discipline.
Yes. I think that's a wiser way of doing it because that way they know that, first of all, they're going to get disciplined. It's the parent that they can't refute in a sense. And
that will take full responsibility.
And have to deal with the other parent who's on the outside of the house.
Who may feel like, hey, I don't think they should have been disciplined for that.
Exactly.
So if it was agreed upon by the two and the biological parent led the discipline, that usually works better.
At least in the beginning until the bonds are
until the trust is built, because this is kind of like beginning discipline.
Yes.
Not necessarily 3 to 4 or 5 years down the line. Then the child is growing, the child gets used to the consistency, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier with that.
I'll say in my family, when I was growing up, there were 2 sets of children. There were 2 boys and 2 girls. So my mother had a boy and a girl, and my stepfather had a boy and a girl. Both boys were older than the girls, and I am the oldest of all 4 of us.
Yeah.
But when it came to discipline, like I said, my mother disciplined me and my stepfather disciplined them at first when we were first introduced as a family.
Right.
And over time, in all the bonding and all of the love was shown and everything like that, then the discipline came from both of them.
Right.
So, I laugh because it's like, it's funny to me now being an adult, seeing how the process has to work in order for you to have a successful blended family. Well,
that's interesting because in your situation, the 2 parents were step parents and biological parents.
Yes.
So when I lived with my mom, my stepfather, there was no blending in the sense that he was the biological parent when I lived with my mom.
Yes.
He was the step parent. She was the biological parent in that blended family. But with my dad, yes, my stepmother and dad were both biological parents of their own children. And then
step parents of another.
Right. And then they had to come together. So it seemed like it was just one parent almost disciplining us at the same time or consistently the same way.
But they had to have a lot of conversations because there's a lot of factors, especially when you're disciplining the other person's child, because then you have to think about them hearing from their ex about you being a discipliner of that child.
Yes.
And that's something that we had to deal with. I had to hear from my ex regarding the discipline that took place in my household.
Right.
First of all, the rules that are in your household are created by the 2 people in the household. There's no third party that has a voice of what is said or done in our household.
Right. And like you said, if it's in love and it may be a different style, but if the adults are caring for the children and they are trustworthy and responsible, then that's what you want to kind of focus on, that my child is being cared for by a good person.
Yeah, we're only talking about things that are done out of love, discipline out of love. We're not talking about discipline out of anger or
abuse.
hatred.
Yeah, we're not talking about abuse.
Definitely not abuse.
That's a whole nother topic. We're just talking about discipline and how to do it effectively in a blended family. Like we said all along, it's all about the communication and discussing it first before it's administered.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
I also want to say, if you're a step parent, you cannot just withdraw from the discipline. Like, I don't care.
You don't want to be an indifferent individual in a household, especially if you're a parent and there's an agreement on how you're going to discipline your children.
Right. So what we're saying is you need to be
a part of it.
So if you are thinking about being in a blended family, and you know that you may be the person that's like, yeah, I don't even want to deal with it. That's not really something that will serve you well. You want to avoid that.
If you are indifferent with this, it's going to make the other spouse feel more
Like a burden, like
it's burdensome to them because they're the bad person now.
All the time.
They have to always discipline. That's not fair to them.
And when you're together, like I think me and you are together when we discipline the kids.
Yeah.
There is no bad cop, good cop, because we're both bad at the time.
Well, we should be one.
Yeah. But I know they try to do that a little bit.
They try to separate you.
Yeah. They try to, pull on some heartstrings with one or the other, but if you kind of are united, they can't tell where to penetrate to try to conquer you and get out of the discipline.
Mm-hmm. You have to just stay like stone cold and just listen. You can listen to them, but you don't let them know that you're inside. You're really just like, I don't want to do this. I'm on your side and I'm listening to you.
But you did something.
But I know you did something.
You didn't do what you were supposed to do, or you didn't do what was expected of you or told. And that's why being with your spouse and discussing the discipline and being in agreement with them. And let me add this. Being in agreement doesn't necessarily mean you are fully on board with maybe the style of discipline, but you agree that discipline needs to take place.
Yes. So this is why you have conversations about discipline, period, as a whole in your household. It's like, what do we do? What do we not do? Because you don't want there to be any surprises when you have to discipline.
And when it's handled well, the kids will feel comfortable quicker.
Well, they'll respect you for being together on it. And
yes.
And it's going to be something that is not overboard for your household. It's something that you have discussed. You took all things into consideration and you were a part of the discussion. So being an indifferent spouse in the discussion is not going to help the family. You have to be a part of this discussion, a part of the agreement, and then a part of the execution of it.
And when we say that's like you're both present, it's known by the kids that both of you know what's happening. Like both parents know this is the discipline that this child is going to receive.
I like what you just said. You said that both of us know what's happening. It's good that both parents do know what's happening before discipline is administered.
Yeah, in a blended family. Yes. You don't want the step parent or the biological parent
just doing something.
Disciplining kids. You didn't know that was maybe a computer was taken or a phone or something. You just don't know. You don't want to put the other parent in the dark. You don't want the children to have an edge or like an advantage of knowing things that the other spouse doesn't know.
There's someone's in the dark and the truth comes out.
Yeah.
Then nobody feels good.
No. And so when you do have all of this agreement and you have all of these discussions, it's going to create a sense of security and oneness and partnership, trust, bond. Everything that you're doing is trying to go towards that, like bonding, trusting, building ties.
Loving.
That's what you want to continue in the discipline. You have to be okay with having a different discipline style than your ex, and that the children will know that and will have to respect each one.
So if children understand that in our household, there's one way of doing things when it comes to discipline, then they have that consistency from the both of you.
Yes. And that's going to just breed more security and more unity and more trust. So topic 2 is avoiding comparing your children.
Yes. You definitely don't want to compare children because everybody's an individual.
Yes. And it's very damaging, and the interesting thing about this is that sometimes we as parents do that without even realizing.
Well, when you compare people, especially children, sometimes their self-esteem can be damaged because of that.
They can feel like it's
unfair.
Well, definitely unfair, but it's like it's unintentional favoritism. Sometimes if you're always mentioning, hey, this child does this, especially if it's two families that are coming together with two sets of children and one parent is always discussing their child or comparing their child to the other children, and you'd want to avoid doing that.
So topic number 2 is comparing or judging the kids.
You don't even realize that you are doing that, but you want to avoid it as much as you can.
Well, when you do something like that, it breeds rivalry. Now they're not showing love towards each other. they're showing competition. And so they want to say, you know what? You were always the best person, but actually I'm better than you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to show you how good I am and that you're really not that good. They just don't know that.
Yeah. And it doesn't really celebrate their individuality of each child. It kind of makes them pit against each other. And when you do that and say things to them that is comparing with the child, it's not helping the bonds to be formed.
The reason we're talking about bonds is because they help so much when it comes to blended families. There's a lot of bonding between the parents and the children and bonding between both parents.
Yeah. I know that like when I was growing up, my dad would reference my older sister a lot. Well, she used to do this, so I'm not going to let you do that. Or she did this. And I used to wonder, like, what
did she do?
Yeah, what was going on? Because he would just reference that all the time, these situations and why he's going to make a decision with me.
Based on what someone else
Yeah,
did.
like if I wanted to go to a party or something, it's like, well, you know, your sister went to a party, she didn't come back. I'm just making this up.
So she messed things up for you.
And so I'm like, I'm not her.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what you feel like initially as a child. I'm not that person.
You don't want to pay a price for what she did.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to be compared.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
And sometimes it could be in a good light, you know, because I know that you referenced your daughter a lot when we first were together.
Yes.
Because that was really your reference point.
You do create bonds, and you have to be aware of the bonds that you're creating, especially when a new person comes into your life. So yeah, that was my experience at the time. That's where I was when I was by myself. But now I realize that I have a life with a new person, which is you. So I had to realign where my bonds and my loyalties were and make sure that I had everything in the right place.
It's also like other people can feel like you're judging them based on another person or rating them based on your experience with another child. You know what I mean? It can happen to the children or the new spouse. So this comparing, we talked about comparing your ex-spouse at one point.
Yes.
Comparing your relationship you've had, comparing the source of joy and love, whatever it is that you're comparing.
Just comparisons don't
It's
help.
just, it just doesn't help. And we don't really understand why it's so bad until we see the kind of remnants of what it does to other people. Whatever.
Especially when they can vocalize how they felt about it.
Yeah. You know, don't compare me. I never felt good when my parents compared me to anybody.
Nobody wants to be compared to somebody else, and that person is being compared as the higher person than you are.
Right. Because I don't think anybody compares children to like lower people.
No.
Or maybe when I say lower people, like, does your parents say, you know what, you're so much better than Johnny down the street?
No, some people do say
Do
stuff
they?
like that. Yeah, some people
I
do
didn't
compare
get that.
their
I didn't
children
get
to other
that.
people's children. Now, thankfully, my parents never compared
didn't do
us
that.
to other people down the street, around
No.
the corner. They don't do that. They didn't do that, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So,
It was your family.
yeah, yeah, my family.
Your cousins and
Well,
them.
You know, yeah, some of them people did, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know,
just don't do it.
don't do it.
Because,
Comparing is not good.
yeah, the children need to feel like
They are individual.
they matter. Yeah. And they're individual. They are important.
Yes.
They are special.
Well, they add value to the family. That's what people want to
Yeah.
feel like, that they add value to your household.
That's good.
Every person in the family, it's just like having your own body. Your left arm adds value to the body, just like the right arm does.
Just like your pinky toe does. 'Cause
Exactly.
You need that for
you need that
balance.
pinky toe. Let me tell you, if you hit that thing, you're going to wish that you didn't.
Even though it may be having, you know, a hard day or a little season or something, the kids need to know that they are loved by the other parent as well.
Yes.
You know, that they are loved. It may take longer for them to feel love from each other, the kids to kids, if you have that in a blended family. But they definitely want to feel like, one, their biological parent still loves them.
Yes, of course.
And not has just jumped ship and just, okay, now I love him, I don't love you anymore. They don't want to feel that. They want to feel like they're loved as well, and they are special to both of you. And that kind of goes into, or did you want to say anything else on that?
No. I'm glad that you said that because I do want to say it, but I'll just wait until we talk about topic 3, which is skipping couple unity.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to say is that they want to feel loved by the new union that has come. If they just feel loved by one or neither,
they feel like they're an outcast, and they don't want to feel like, who wants to feel like an outcast in their own household?
And that can easily happen to kids when you
show your loyalty and your love towards this other person that you just married.
Yeah, or you're overly trying to love the other children or something.
Oh.
You really want to show that you are trying, and then your kids can feel like, hey.
Like you're doing too much, Mom.
Yeah,
you're doing too much, Dad.
What about me?
It's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's kind of lopsided. Yeah. And I think with this couple unity, you don't want to skip it. That will help with these teeter-tottering emotions and
division of
feelings of where's my place here.
The kids want to know where they stand when it comes to the household, how they stand when it comes to your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a united front, then they know that you both love them, they matter to both of you.
Right.
And they have a place in the household. So that's one of the things that I enjoyed as a child. My parents, both my biological mother and my stepfather, made us both feel like we added value to the household. Good. So all 4 of us were somebody in the household.
Now, I felt with my mom, I kind of felt less loved at first. I felt like the relationship that we had kind of went another way because now she has a husband.
Yes. She was putting more into that relationship.
Yeah, and it was told to me like he's more important. Not in that way, but kind of that vibe. It's my husband and then you.
Well, it should be like that. But you don't have to state it like that.
Yeah.
So there's a way to talk to someone and make them feel either useless or powerless or unworthy. Or you can talk to them and make them feel like this is what it is, but you're still a part of this. Yeah.
I didn't feel overly loved by my stepfather. I didn't feel, hated or anything. I didn't feel the same. It wasn't a united front, if I could say that. But when I was with my dad and stepmom, I felt like it was united.
You have to realize that some people can only give you what they have.
Yeah.
They can't give you what they don't have. If they don't have the knowledge or understanding, or in some cases, the will to even do it, then they can't give you what they don't have. That's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation, to educate, give understanding, give insight, show you how to love the people that are in your household.
Because maybe you weren't raised like that.
Yes.
Maybe you can't give what you don't even know that you needed to give. Mm-hmm. But if you want to kind of reiterate to your kids that, hey, this is my spouse now.
But I do love you.
Yes, that can be done in a way that they still feel like, hey, now I'm part of something new. Yeah, and bigger. I had love here, and now I have this love as well. Not necessarily, there's only a certain amount of love pie, and I had 3 pieces of it, now I only have 1.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's, you want to show that it can grow and they're included. And this is why couple unity between the spouses in a blended family is so important, because the kids need to see that. When they see division, it confuses them, and then they usually do like a fight or flight type response, and they'll be in your ear and they'll be like, Mom, we don't have to, we can move. Yeah. We can leave here.
Why don't you just go back to Dad?
They will quickly go into fight or flight mode. Oh
yeah. I mean, it's not that they're doing it out of dislike for the other person. It's because you didn't give them that consistent show of love and bring them into it.
It's their protection mechanism.
Yeah, it's a protection.
If something goes down, they will take their biological parent and run.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever said that to my mom or dad. I feel like I had one time.
I'm sure you have.
If they were arguing really bad, my biological parent and my step parent, if they were arguing too hard, I'd let them know, hey, we can go somewhere.
The person who doesn't have a job or money or anything like that, you're telling
I have nothing.
Yeah, as a child, I'm saying.
But we can go somewhere, Mom.
Yeah.
Or Dad, whoever. It doesn't matter.
I don't know where we're going to go,
you
but
could
we can go
you
somewhere.
could take me somewhere.
Yes.
And we're joking about it now, but it's not a good feeling when you see when you see your parents arguing anyway, but when you see your biological parent and a step parent arguing, it's very, very scary. Yeah, it's tough.
It's unsettling and
That's a good
it gives
word.
you an instability in your household.
That you already, it's like triggering.
You already had, yes,
you
triggering.
Already had,
that's the word. Yes.
For children, they already had some type of instability.
Because of the divorce.
Yeah, that led to a divorce, that led to breaking their family. Mm-hmm. And now they see you arguing and it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
We have to realize
my response is I'm going to leave.
Well, we have to realize that there's a lot of people who may see the arguing, but they don't see the makeup. They don't see the unity or coming back together.
And they need to see that. Kids need to see that, especially in blended families. They know all about breaking up. They know about the arguments. They know about the packing up. However that separation went down, they know that. But they don't have a lot of reference of the good things and partnership and a love.
This is one of the reasons why when you have a blended family, you're working to establish the bonding process, because you want to show them that you may have been torn apart in the past, but here we're working to stay close-knit, close together, and we're in it to win it. We're here together for as long as we can be.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. I mean, we've argued in front of our kids.
And those are our biological children.
Protecting your marriage first is very important in blended families. I almost think blended families have an advantage over just a remarriage with no children, because you have to be so intentional when you have children in a blended family, in a remarriage. You have to be intentional about the way that you're talking to your children, your expectations of them.
And your spouse. You have to be sensitive to how you're going forward with people.
The discipline, the finances, everything that we talked about, and really making sure that you allocate time for each other away from the kids. So
that's a part of the unity process.
Yes.
Making sure that there's a bond between husband and wife and that you understand each other. You understand how each other feels in this relationship. Yeah. How you're thinking about and what you're thinking about it. You're talking about the children. You're talking about your resources, your finances, and you want to create a bond that's unbreakable. And the children know that it's unbreakable. The great thing about children is that they are in their household. They know everything that's going on, and they can hear you when you think that they can't hear you.
Yeah, they can hear everything.
They know what's going on.
And so your disagreements, as much as you can, should be private, especially when it's dealing with the kids. But in anything, if you're disagreeing about when to pay a bill or something like that, that has nothing to do with the children, just that sense of, hey, the two aren't on one accord can cause kind of anxiety or a little,
it's tension in the
like
air.
You said, unsettling to the children. So it's best to keep as much of the adult talk, the adult business, to adults, and making sure that they don't sense division.
Well, you want to model a partnership. You want to model that you're together, that we're working hand in hand and we're walking hand in hand to make sure that this household is a united front for everyone that's involved.
And they'll appreciate it. They're like, man, my parents, they go out every Friday and they're going to have their little date and we just have to sit here till they get back, you know, or
they have the babysitter or
whatever the situation, or we have to go to grandma's or whatever we do. But they are going to build their relationship, because like we said before, children have a way to, they can consume you. They can literally consume all of your time, all of your resources, if you let them.
So I wonder about people who allow children to consume them and not their spouse. What I'm saying is that the children come first and the spouse comes second.
Right. You don't want that. You don't want that in a blended family, because it can happen almost naturally. And you also don't want it to be where they're consuming just one spouse and
wearing them down,
and the other spouse is not really active.
They're not engaged.
Yes. And then it can just cause a resentment for the biological parent to feel like, hey, I'm taking in all of this all by myself. So the unity and always checking in with each other and balancing it and making that united front will just help the blended family grow.
It's funny, when you were talking, I was thinking about wrestling, and one person's in the ring and they're getting smacked down by somebody, and the other person over there, they have 2 or 3, 4 guys coming in there beating up on this one person, and she's like, or he's like, hit my hand, tag me in, here, help me out. And they're like, oh, no, you're gonna get beat up.
So the kids are the other wrestlers?
Well, they might be the other wrestlers with some other people over there helping,
and your spouse is just on the sideline.
Your spouse is like, tag me in, come on, not tag me in, but come in here and just help me out. And it's like, if you don't tag in and help them out, guess what happens? You lose. You lose that match.
Well, the main thing is, like, you're stronger together.
You're stronger together.
You're just stronger together.
You're always stronger together.
And when you build a team, you guys can communicate what you need. You can communicate your disappointments. You can communicate your love. You can communicate all these things to each other. Then it's going to help your blended family.
Yes.
When you put your marriage first, you're actually blessing the children, not hurting them or neglecting them at all, because a united space and united couple creates a safe home. And that's really what children flourish in.
That's what they need.
Yeah, they need and they flourish in a home that has been created out of love and unity.
So today we unpack 3 things you absolutely want to avoid in your blended family. Number 1, avoid discipline without agreement. Number 2, avoid comparing children.
Yes.
And number 3, avoid skipping couple unity.
The good news is you can change, go in a different direction, and with intentional love and teamwork, you can make your blended family run so smoothly.
If this podcast has helped you navigate your past hurts, build stronger blended families, or grow your remarried love, consider supporting us.
Your contribution keeps new episodes coming and spreads hope to couples who need it most.
Here's how you can help.
Click the support link in the show notes.
Choose an amount that works for you, whether it's monthly or one time.
And know that every dollar goes right back into creating the kind of content that helps couples just like you.
It's an easy way to invest in stronger marriages and thriving families.
Thank you for being a part of this journey.
If this episode encouraged you, we ask that you share it with another family who will need it.
And remember, blending family is a journey, not a race. Take your time, love one another, and keep choosing unity.
Until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.